Come on, Kevin Feige, get it together. You got to get this dog over the finish line.
Hello. I started this gangsta. Thanks I get. Hello. I started this gangsta. And it's the thanks I get. Hello.
Hey, if you're new here and enjoying the content, could you please take a minute to subscribe and ring that bell for notifications? Thanks. Well, what have we here? It's Comic Artist Pro Secrets. My name is Ethan Van Sciver. I am a 25-year veteran of the comic book industry, world's most charming man, great big Star Wars fan, and yet we find ourselves again controversy coming from Disney. Controversy when it comes to marketing. We've already been through this with Disney. Disney making mistakes with the way they market their films, their lesser films. I don't think they're going to have problems marketing Avengers Endgame, and I don't think they're going to have problems marketing Star Wars Episode 9. We'll see about that. We'll see. Now, initially, I blamed all of this incompetence on Kathleen Kennedy, but because of problems like this and the discussions that are being had in the media about Captain Marvel, I also have to point the finger of scorn at Kevin Feige, who runs the MCU as well. What happened today? What happened today was on the Captain Marvel website. Jude Law's character name was revealed accidentally. Now, was this accidentally, or was this maybe this was part of a thing to keep people buzzing? Who really knows? I mean, is Disney that Machiavellian? After Solo and the way Solo was marketed, I fear not. I don't give them that kind of credit. I think this was a genuine fluke. So, Jude Law has been a bright spot. Let me just say this about this horrible, and I'm sorry, I think this movie's going to be bad. I think the character is bad. And I think the idea of bringing Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, out in this way to fight this imposing threat of Thanos in order to glorify this character that, in comics, if you're not into comic books, you have to understand Marvel has been trying to sell Captain Marvel to comic book readers now since 2014 or so, since the SJWs took over Marvel and started implementing social justice change. They want Marvel's #1 character to be a whammon. It's not going to be Spider-Man. It's not going to be Thor. Not unless we can have women or people of color take over these roles. Captain Marvel is their prime objective, to sell this boring-ass character to the American people. Now, in the trailers, Jude Law shows up. Jude Law is only in there for a second, and he's wearing his green Kree uniform, and his eyes light up, and he's got an intensity about him that made people wonder, who is Jude Law playing in this movie, and can we hear more about Jude Law? Brie Larson, oh yeah, that's fine. But Jude Law, who is Jude Law playing? Because he looks like a real superhero. Well, accidentally, and by the way, fans kind of discussed this, and a lot of them theorized that he indeed would be playing Captain Marvel. And I'm going to call him Marvel just to differentiate him from Captain Marvel, Brie Larson. Captain Marvel, which is spelled MAR-VELL, there it is on the screen there, is different. He was the original Marvel Comics version of Captain Marvel. Now, who is he? Who is Captain Marvel? Well, he's a member of the Kree race, which is a humanoid but sometimes blue skin, militaristic alien race. It's incredibly scientifically and technologically advanced. All right, so basically what happened is the Kree investigated planet Earth to see if humans were a threat. Are human beings threats to the Kree Empire? And in order to investigate the human race, they sent Marvel, Captain Marvel, to Earth to determine if we were a threat, to kind of scope us out, to take notes. I don't know. Take notes, email the Kree Empire, and let them know what exactly we were up to. And we're so dumb. The human race is dumb compared to the Kree. We didn't know what was going on. We're like, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, be the Jane Goodall, of the human race. And so he adopted the identity of a recently deceased scientist named Walter Lawson. But even still, he's a superhero, so when necessary, when there was a threat to humanity. Oh, and by the way, as his compassion for the human race grew, initially he was investigating us, eventually he became protective of the human race, and he really felt some warmth and compassion for human beings. So, when a threat would happen, he would stop being, he would throw his disguise away and become Captain Marvel. His Kree military uniform would come out. He looked cool as hell. Now, he pronounced his name, and humans phonetically heard it as Captain Marvel. and so that's what they called him. They called him, Captain Marvel. So the whole conflict of the book was that, he had a jealous commanding officer, Colonel Jan Rog, and then, he had to weigh his loyalty to his race, the Kree Empire, and his job with his compassion for humanity. And plus, it turns out that the fake identity that he adopted had a criminal past. So that's the fun plot of the book. Now, eventually, as it turned out, Captain Marvel, in a big book by Jim Starlin. Jim Starlin is the creator of Thanos, and you should really investigate his comic book work. But in the 1980s, he put out a book called The Death of Captain Marvel. It was a graphic novel, absolutely beautiful cover with the Grim Reaper holding Mar-Vell like the Pieta. And so the plot of that book, I'll just read this from Wikipedia. After a battle in the mystical dark dimension, an encounter with the Hulk, and an adventure on an alien world. So there's a lot of events that lead up to this. Mar-Vell discovers that his past exposure to the compound 13 nerve gas has given him cancer. Compounding the problem are Mar-Vell's negabands. So he wears these bracelets, which keep the cancer at bay, but also cause it to resist all known forms of treatment, and lack of access to the Kree Empire's medical experts, since the Kree consider Mar-Vell a traitor. He prefers human beings at this point. As Mar-Vell accepts that his life is ending, many of his friends and allies come to Titan to pay their last respects. Even his mortal enemies, the Skrulls, send an envoy to bestow a medal on Mar-Vell to honor him as their greatest foe. In his final moments, Mar-Vell experiences a vision in which he meets Thanos once again. Thanos has come not as a foe, but as a guide to show Mar-Vell the path to the afterlife. Wow, that's how cool Thanos is. As he, Thanos, and Mistress Death pass into a blinding light, Mar-Vell dies. Okay, so a big event in the 1980s. Again, these comics are all worth investigating. I do recommend them. Can't recommend the work of Jim Starlin, who is being sorely mistreated by Marvel right now. They're really look that up as well. Jim Starlin, brilliant creator, created Thanos, created all of these important things. But Thanos, Marvel's been milking this character for years now in their movies, and if Jim Starlin isn't a multimillionaire right now, I'll never understand why. He's being cheated. He's being swindled. All right, so that's who Mar-Vell is now. It's a big deal, obviously. Okay, we're excited about this. We're excited about Captain Marvel being the real Captain Marvel, being in this movie with Brie Larson's wooden pretend fake, girl power version of Captain Marvel with the blank facial expression, and so Disney accidentally, I guess, made that revelation and then removed it. They quickly removed it from their website here. And just like that, we're left wondering who on earth Jude Law will be portraying, will be playing in Captain Marvel once more. As of this writing, Disney has removed Mar-Vell as Law's role on the official website of Captain Marvel. This is, I'm sorry, but this really does smack of Solo all over again. Solo's production, leading up to Solo, so much stupidity came out in the press. Stuff that was just, it was not on purpose. It wasn't controversy to gain attention. There were news stories saying that the cast and the director and the producers did not like Alden Ehrenreich and that he couldn't act. Kathleen Kennedy came in and fired the original directors. People were, early on before the movie even premiered, before the trailers even came out, Disney was letting it leak to the press that they believed that Solo was a bomb. Every bit of bad tidings, every bit of bad karma possible, Disney released into the media, which I think affected the outcome of that movie and caused it to bomb. And that is the truth. That is sad. So this is also, it's like, whoops, I guess we were holding this back. The movie is still 3 months, well, two and a half months away right now. If we're trying to release all of these interesting nuggets and roll them out one at a time, we kind of blew it here. Here's Sci-Fi Wire. By the way, look at this great shot of once it loads. Look at that. Jude Law as Captain Mar-Vell. Garbage, just garbagey websites. Okay, really, really cool. I saw that and said, yeah. Does it look like Captain Marvel? Well, he doesn't have the same yellow, bouffant of hair. I mean, Captain Marvel, he really did. His hair had the party in the back and the business up front. But even still, this is a nice updated version. He doesn't look like the character very much, but that's fine. What does the character look like? The character looked like Barry Manilow, dressed in spandex. Captain Marvel. Disney reportedly spills cosmic beans on Jude Law's mystery character, and they're calling it the worst kept secret of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In any case, I believe they accidentally released it and then retracted it and then just finally said, look, they already saw it. It's so stupid. So at this point, let's just admit it. Jude Law is going to be Captain Marvel, and that is fantastic news for the movie. Probably the best news for the movie up to this point. But it really does just underline and underscore the incompetence of Disney at this point. It's just over and over again. Disney releasing terrible, accidental news slipping to the media that forebodes what comes ahead. Nevertheless, doesn't really matter. We're gonna watch Captain Marvel. I'm gonna go see this terrible movie. This movie that it clearly exists to set up this character that nobody who isn't suffering through mainstream comics right now, normal people, they've never heard of Carol Danvers, who we have actually dubbed Carl Manvers, because in the comics they're slowly starting to draw her as Justin Bieber. It's a really strange phenomenon. If you look at the comics, they've taken her breasts away. She's flat chested. She has short hair. She has no lips. She has a big heavy jaw. The artists of Captain Marvel are afraid to draw a woman at this point, and I think that perhaps the movie is also going to fall short in a few areas of that nature. So, in any case, great news that Jude Law is Captain Marvel. Terrible news that this movie's coming out. Dreading the way Marvel promotes these things. And, we got to go over their merchandise. I'm going to make a separate video to show you the hilariously awful Captain Marvel merch that's coming out. And even, I'll save it. I'm not going to spoil anything yet. You're going to die. You're going to love it. All right, thanks, everyone. If you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, please do. Please hit like, and I appreciate everything that you guys do. Just know that I do read all of your comments, and I appreciate your participation. Thanks very much. Hey, want to follow me on Twitter? Okay, cool. I'm at Ethan Van Sciver. Talk to you there. Show your friends you support independent comics while showing the world who you back in the fight against the swarm with the brand new Cyberfrog t-shirt from Crypto Fashion and Comic Artist Pro Secret. Sizes come in small to 5XL, and take your choice of colors between navy blue, white, and black. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and order the Fandom Menace, Go Get Daddy's Belt, Tico, and Soilo t-shirts as well. Link is below in the description. You're going to look great. People love these shirts. They fit wonderfully. Thank you very much. If you enjoyed this video and want to become part of this community, subscribe to this channel by clicking the Laughing Man face logo right on your screen. Ring the bell for notifications as well. You'll never miss a live chat. And stay tuned, another video by Comic Artist Pro Secrets is coming right up.